Hey guys, I'm back. Okay, last update. Okay, it's the middle of the night. Lisa is sleeping, and I'm just putting on the very last of the border. I'm right near the very end. I was just filming it, and then I think I fucked it up, so I'm not even sure if the first attempt is still on the thing or not. So what I've got going on here is just really simple. It's the exact same fold over that I've been doing to get all my centers done. And this blanket is almost done. The really cool thing about this is that a lot of quilts. Well, once you're at this stage, once you're finishing up your binding, that means you're done. But the really cool thing about this is that the quilting part's already done. So once it's all pieced, once you start connecting your pieces, it's finished as you go. Okay, so you guys get to watch the last of the stitches. Sorry for being so quiet. Lisa doesn't mind the sound of the machine. She'll sleep through this, no problem. But when I start talking, she wakes up. And it's like, I don't know what time it is here. I don't know what time it is. And again, quick little back stitch where those two pieces are meeting, just because. And then this is the very end. And I'm just folding this in like I would fold anything else in. I'm going to hold it really carefully and trim off any. This is the corner. See, this one's already done. Yeah, lighting's probably this is probably the worst of the lighting, just because I don't want to wake my wife up, because she'll come grumping out at me and tear my head off, and I won't like it very much. Okay, did I do my back stitch already? Doesn't matter. Boho, rustic. It can be whatever it wants. Okay. Don't forget to tuck your schmutz in there. Said it before, said it again. If you spend all your time trying to get off that loose thread, then you're just gonna, if you can't tuck it in, trim it off. But if you can tuck it in, then just tuck it in. Because once this is all stitched down, it's not gonna come back out. Okay, make sure that's nice and straight. If you don't trust it, then just get a pair of tweezers out and hold it in place. Pin it, do whatever you need to do. Go to the very end, back stitch a little. Voila, it is done. It is done. And I just loaded this guy up onto the sewing machine and just went all the way around. And obviously there's going to be some loose threads here and there. It's a quilt. That's the way life goes. Let's see if I can do it this way. Let's see if I can just go, hi, it's me. I'm done my blanket. Okay, let's go hold this guy up for you guys. Poor Bruno. He's like all confused because it's, normally I'd be over chilling. Okay. So, what do we got here? I'm only looking, I can only see the tiniest little camera there. There's my blanket. It's done. There's my back. It's done. Okay. So, I'm going to get some pictures of this guy. I've also got to get it in the wash. And like I said, I've also got to keep my voice down. I don't want my wife to wake up and be angry. Angry wife is not fun wife. Don't know why. Let's get this down here. So, this is my quilt. This is my quilt. There is no rhyme, no reason to this. Everything is just as random as I could get it. As a matter of fact, a few things didn't look random enough, so I shifted them around just to make sure they looked nice and random. So that is it. That is it. I'll get some pictures for you. I'll get some pictures for you after I wash it. So basically, the one thing that I did with this is I didn't wash any of this before I started, because then once it's washed, it's going to do this little puckering thing, and it actually makes these types of blankets look really good. Really, really good. Okay, so what do we got going on here? So as you can see here, I don't know if you can see this or not. You might not even notice it. See how that's over here and that's over, and then whoop, that's coming up here and that's over and then continues. So that's an effect that you're going to get. Next one down. Nice and square. Well, it's still off a little bit, right? So that is an expected effect. That's something you're looking for. All the back is the same fabric. I am very happy with it. Of course, I do my update while I have to be very, very quiet, but I just wanted to get you guys an update while I was sewing the last little bit. Don't mind me, I just found some loose threads and I want to get them out. Okay, so I'm going to be taking this. I'm not going to wash it tonight because it is late, but it's like I had a big block of time today for sewing, so it's like I want to get the rest of the sewing done. I want to see if I can finish it tonight. That way I can wash it tomorrow, and that way I've got it for the next day. So this is it. This is it. This is it. This is a nice blanket. I'm very, very happy with it. So that is the semi-final update. I'll probably be back with a little. I'll be back with it. You know what? I'll wash it and then I'll do my last final update once it's been washed. And so my final update will be tomorrow after it's been washed and dried. Okay, so this is like way too quiet, this is like, okay, now go to sleep and shut your eyes. Yeah, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning here. I do not want to wake my wife up because she has to go to work in the morning and I get to sleep. I work from home. If I want to sleep in, I can. So yeah, this is it. Okay, final update. It's done. Okay, so what do you guys think? This is my finished quilt. This is a double-sized bed that I've got it on. Quilt goes all the way across the bed. It fits the way I want it to fit. It probably could have been a little tiny bit. I probably could have put one more width. So I probably could have gone 8x8 on this and still had a nice quilt. So I showed you guys, I think I showed you guys most of the warts and all of focusing on speed and just a little bit of intentional recklessness while putting a quilt together. And this is the final product. This is the finished quilt. This is going to be my spare blanket on cold nights. It's going to replace the one that I showed you guys in a previous, I forget where I showed you guys along my little journey here with this junk quilt. But this is going to replace the one that needs repair. The one that needs repair, I'm actually going to repair it and keep it. So what I've got here, let me see. But yeah, I told you guys it was going to look great. It looks great. The little flaws, like, okay, we'll get in here. Still, warts and all. If you're looking for it, you'll find it. But nobody's gonna look for or care that these aren't perfectly lined up. And again, there's plenty of techniques that I use. There's plenty of techniques that I use to make sure that when I am putting together a quilt that I want to be a nicer quilt. Like here's my dragon quilt underneath, and I made sure that when I put a line down, I made sure it was right where I wanted it to be. You know, nice. This is the same width as that. I took the time to measure things, make sure they were going to line up properly. So you can get a much more perfect result using this technique. This is just this was just all the little things I do to intentionally cut corners when I'm doing my boho. When I'm using this quilt as you go technique to do a boho quilt. So anyway, and yeah, some of the corners are like that corner is almost perfect. Look at that. Look at the way those line up. It's perfect. Okay, anyway. So every patch is different. No two are the same. The entire back is the same. That was from I just happened to have a lot of this fabric, so I just cut it down. Cool thing about using this technique too is that you don't have to get wide backs to do your backs because you're doing your back as you go. So that's a big advantage. So that's it. Oh, and something else I did, I don't know if it's going to matter to anybody who wants to follow along, but I made sure that all of these were on sideways. I made sure these are on sideways. Few of them, well, some of them are on sideways. Like that one faces that way. Then you come over here and that one faces the other way. This one over here faces top to bottom. So I intentionally made sure I wasn't doing that as I went. Yeah, that one faces top to bottom. Oh, that's facing in the same direction. So lots of stuff going in lots of directions. Anyway, now I'm just showing off because I'm just really happy with the way this turned out. It's nice and sturdy. It's exactly how I want it to be. So I have a nice patchy blanket that is, in terms of materials cost, very, very low. The batting, which batting can be expensive depending on what you're getting. Always wait for a sale if you know that you're going to be, if you know that you got projects that require batting and you can wait for a sale, get it when it's cheap. the top, every single piece of this was left over some other projects. So the effective cost of this is 0 because it was fabric that was in the scrap bucket. This was very, very low cost because I got a killer deal on it. So overall, I spent way more on my dragon quilt because I made sure I had the exact matches, right? Anyway, that's just a side piece. I'm just gonna go in circles, looking at my blanket through the camera, going, ooh, I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with it. I think you guys will see why this was a fun project, why I'm in love with the quilt as you go, and I'm also in love with the boho style. So this is a nice blend of two things that I really, really like. I'm really happy with this. Now my next project, I don't know what my next project is going to be. I'm probably going to be, I do want to do another quilt, but I'm going to do a much better quilt. I don't know what you want to call better. Anyway, let me stop babbling now. Okay, so that is it. My quilt is done. I am going to put this together. I'll link below part 1, part 2. I don't know how this is going to go online yet. I'm probably going to just do one update. I don't want to put it together in a great big giant video. I don't know. Maybe I'll start over on this piece. Okay, so there you go. That is my quilt from beginning to end. And like I said, showing you all the dents and dings and warts and all on the way. Still got a blanket that I really, really like the look of. And minimal cost because I used all fabrics that I already had on hand from leftovers from other projects. Even the batting was left over from other projects, so that's fine. That's something that happens. If you're cutting a piece of batting for a project, batting comes in huge pieces. If you have leftover pieces of batting, they're at least 10 inches square, just start saving them. And then when you're ready, make a quilt as you go quilt. Anyway, so that's it. My quilt is done. It is finished. I'm taking the day to just play video games. And then I'm back to work on my regular stuff. That was the last. I'm just kind of really excited about this one. That was the last of the projects that I've been wanting to get caught up on that I've been putting off for the longest time. So my entire, starting in the early December, my entire holiday season until now has been all about making the quilts that I wanted to make and a bunch of other small projects. So now my next projects, I don't know what they're going to be for I don't know what kind of projects I'm working on next. I had a few things on the maybe I should try and make this pile. But I've got some cool stuff that I want to practice on. I want to start practicing on doing actual proper quilt blocks using proper actual quilt techniques, because that's a quilt that you do when you're in a hurry. If I want to actually, up my game, I got to start practicing on not the real stuff. That's a real quilt, kids. It's real. But, I got to start practicing on the more precision stuff, the more stuff that you have to be careful with. So you're probably going to be seeing a lot of that coming up, quilt blocks. You're probably going to be seeing a lot of quilt blocks coming up. So